Oh boy. And bad things have happened. Welcome back to Automation. So today I have another viewer suggestion video planned. This time came from a comment under the ridiculous 3200 horsepower Boxer 6 engine video. He asked for a modern, sporty Kei car. Now, given the video that this was posted under, I don't know if he expects that engine to go in one, but I'm going to go based on the assumption of probably not, because that wouldn't be a Kei car. They're kind of heavily restricted on what they can have for engines to 600cc and, 64 horsepower. So that's what I'm going to build with, is the current regulations for a Kei car. And I'm going to use this cute little body right here. It meets the wheelbase length requirements. Hopefully it meets the width as well. We'll see at the end on that one. So, partial aluminum, monocoque, and we'll go light AHS steel. This thing's not going to have a lot of power. We don't want it to be very heavy. Mid-transverse. And we will do struts in the front and wishbones in the rear. New project. Now, for the engine, generally, when you think of a Kei car, you think of, you got a little tiny 3-cylinder, and you slap a little turbo on there, and that's not my style. I don't like doing things like that. So we're going to go with a 5-cylinder, and hope that it can be small enough to actually meet the requirements. So, we'll just lower things down and see what we end up with. But it looks like this is going to work. I know it's probably not the most efficient use of this kind of an engine. Ah, yes. We can have the Devil's 5-pot. Little buzz box of an engine. Dual overhead cam, 5-valve, and it's going to be aluminum. Again, we want to keep it lightweight. I'm hoping for somewhere in the area of 2,000-ish pounds. If I could be under that, that'd be fantastic. But we'll see what we get when we get there. And we'll go forged for pistons, I suppose. Drop that down a little bit. Bring this up because I want this thing to be able to rev like crazy. Like, I want this to be a little buzz box of a turbo engine. And we're going to need that to 100, and we'll do VVT. Gonna have a turbo. Probably the smallest, most adorable little turbo in the world. But we'll see how that turns out. We'll start with that for now. Multi-point, single, and compact, I guess? Yeah, I think compact will work. Again, not going for a lot of power, because we can't. Bring that up a little bit. Turbo short cast, high flow 3-way, nothing for the front, and a straight through on the rear. Okay, well, 58 horsepower already. If only we could go up to almost 14,000 RPM. That'd be so nice, but we can't. So, 10,000 it'll have to be. I know, disappointing, but, I mean, it is what it is. There's only just so much that I can personally do about that one.
1 hour later.
So, I may or may not have forgotten that I was supposed to be recording stuff. So, I did the whole front end, for the most part. It was a pain. It's such a big, flat surface to try to work with, and I'm notoriously bad at using body molding pieces, but it's got a face. I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it, so I'm going to roll with it. Start working on the sides and the rear of this thing, and hopefully I'll remember what I'm actually doing. And, I mean, in my defense, I am sweating my ass off in this room. Computer, sudden thunderstorm, increasing humidity in Florida. Yeah, it's a bit toasty in here. So, yeah, that's the plan for now. I'm still working on the sides and the rear, and I'll be back soon.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Alright, and a very uncomfortable couple of hours later, we have the Pixel Sky. Pixel's a brand I've used once. That was in my very first video where I made the GR Yaris knockoff, and I haven't touched the brand since. because I usually don't do much with brands. I don't really have any lore or anything exciting that goes into these. I just throw a name at it, and that's what it is, because I usually never end up touching the cars ever again after I finish them. But enough rambling. Next up, BeamNG Drive. Got a couple things that I've been working on, so I will see you there in a moment. Alright, and here we are in Beam, and you know, I must say this actually doesn't look too bad after exporting. Usually it's hit or miss on whether things are actually going to look good in Beam, and you know, with a few exceptions, like whatever happened to the indicators on the taillights there, other than that, it came over pretty well. So, we're at the West Coast time trial, one of the short circuits around the racetrack here by the drag strip, just to see how this thing can do. Track isn't too long, I think about a minute per lap, just, you know, to keep it nice and short. And let's see how this little thing drives. And again, it's very quiet. You know what? Hang on. Alright, I made some adjustments to see if it's... Oh yes, that's much better. Can actually hear the little buzz box. It's such a fantastic sound for what this car is. A high revving 5-cylinder. You don't see it often enough, you know? And so far, this thing's actually driving pretty well. Did I actually make something that isn't total garbage? I mean, I suppose it's the first time for everything, right? Oh, over-revved it a little bit there. Oh well, it'll be fine. Now, one thing that I do need to remember to do is to short shift a little bit, because we do drop about 4 horsepower after, I think, what's like 8,000 RPM or something like that. Which, you know, 4 horsepower is 4 horsepower, but when you're only dealing with 64 horsepower, that 4 makes a big difference. And I am actually amazed at how well this car is driving. Again, I realize it's not, like, the fastest thing in the world, but like, that right there is the first little bit of oversteer I've had, and that was because of me throwing it into the first corner a little bit too aggressively. I've also got to turn off the ESC if I can. It's not supposed to have ESC, so hopefully I can change that, because it's currently in comfort mode, which is probably making a huge difference in how this thing is driving. Probably be so much faster through these corners too, but that takes time, and I'm not really gonna spend that much time getting super familiar with this car around this track, because I don't have time for that, and my room is already an oven. So let's see what kind of time we can get. This should be the last checkpoint right there. Be better if I remembered to shift as well. You know, that's usually pretty important for maintaining a top speed. Apparently, it's my new local best time. Even though I did some testing on this track with a different car earlier. I mean, okay, game, if you say so. So yeah, I mean, like, I have 0 complaints about how this thing drives. Okay, so the ESC actually does work, so we did that all in comfort, but let's see how much of a difference it makes turning the ESC off entirely. Be surprised if it makes any at all, honestly. Because this thing's got some pretty good sized tires on it for what it is. I mean, 195s, no, they're not the biggest things in the world. But again, for 64 horsepower, that's a lot of mechanical grip, plus it's got aero on it. So, this is a pretty fun little car. You can hear that little tiny adorable turbo chirping away in the background. Ah. Such a fun little car. Thank you for suggesting that I build this particular vehicle. But, now that we've done the test track, I have one more thing that I want to do with this. Alright, and here we are on the Crash Hard 2.0 map. With the massive downhill chaos slope that the map has. Figured I'd do something a little different with this one than what most people do. Usually it's, oh, let's take it to the car jump arena and throw it off and see how far it can go. That's just, I think, too overdone. So I want to see what this thing can do going down this massive slope. And I will be taking all of the jumps with every car that I take down this thing, because going over there on the left side, there's no risks. So it needs to be able to go fast enough to jump far enough. Oh boy. And bad things have happened. Oh boy, here we go. Well, that didn't go very well. Somehow the engine still works, though. So, I mean, that's got to count for something, right? Alright. One more chance at that. See if we can do any better. Hope for a better landing than the last one. We'll get it up to speed. Oh, no. Nope. Things have already gone bad. So this is going to turn into a much more difficult test than I thought it would for these things. And down and down and down we go. I figured this would be a little bit easier on the cars, but getting the landings right and not bouncing and flying off the hill, it's going to be a challenge. Alright. One more try, shall we? I don't think this car is going to make it all the way down. I have this funny feeling that that's going to be the same scenario every time. This thing's just going to land, it's going to bounce awkwardly, and it's just going to meet its fate at the bottom of the mountain. Oh. Right. Just holding down the wrong button. I meant to put in the clutch so I didn't damage the engine like that. But... Oh, that was good. That was good. We're getting there. Oh, boy. Nope. No. Oh, maybe. Oh, we lost... Come on. Nope. Alright, so we made it past the third jump, which I think is the last jump. So... I guess that is where we're going to end that. In a very sad, crunching looking state. The Pixel Sky viewer request Kei Car turned out to be one of my favorite cars that I have made so far. Tell me what you think. And if you have any suggestions, leave a comment. While you're down there, maybe subscribe, leave a like. Every little bit helps. And I will see you in the next one.